At this point in time, we're recording, and I will turn it over to Chairman Fielding Ralston.
Okay, want to welcome everybody. It seems like we're getting together on a regular basis here, but I certainly do appreciate the time that you spend working on not only the drafts but on these calls. First thing we need to do is call the roll. So Nathan, if you could call the roll or have somebody there call the roll.
We'll certainly do that. And first thing, I'll tell you what, we've got a table here with 5 people, so we're just going to go around the table here, and then I'll call the roll, starting with Lyle Alshai. I'm Nathan James with the State Board of Education.
Brad Davis, Tennessee Department of Education.
Philip Kramer, State Board of Education.
Mary Ann Dursky, Department of Education.
Mackenzie Manning, State Board of Education.
Dr. Lyle Alshai.
Yes, I'm here.
Representative Harry Brooks.
Hunter Zanardi.
Hey, welcome, Hunter. Representative Brooks.
Here.
David Connor, or if you're a designee for one of these, please speak up. David Connor.
Here.
Senator Gresham. I know she intends to join us. Ben Torres.
Here.
Vince Harville.
Here.
Chris Henson.
Here.
I'm in for Dr. Sarah Hayburn. Dorsey Hobson, or designee. Karen King.
Here.
Candace McQueen.
Mary Ann Dursky for Dr. McQueen.
Commissioner Martin. Or
Greg Turner for Commissioner Martin.
Okay. Wayne Miller. Wayne Miller. Mitchell Moore, or designee. Rick Nicholson.
Here.
Don Odom.
Here.
Michael, you're in for Cliff Lippard, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Larry Ridings.
Here.
Chairman Ralston, you're here. Marianne Sparks.
Here.
Justin Wilson, or Comptroller's designee. Anyone from the Comptroller's office? Okay. And Hunter Zanardi is here. Senator Gresham, have you come on the line? Wayne Miller?
Michael's here. Senator Gresham isn't.
Okay. She's not on, so you'll take her place then. Anyone here from TOSS? And nobody for Mitchell Moore, right? Or Dorsey Hobson?
Lynn Johnson is here for Dorsey Hobson.
Hey, Lynn, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum established.
Okay, appreciate the quorum. You've got to follow the agenda that was distributed. I think we had a chance on Monday to review a final draft in a lot of detail, spend some time with making corrections. I think those corrections have been made, and we've had a new final draft mailed out yesterday, and another one this afternoon. We'll be working from that last draft. I think we've got it pretty well fine-tuned at this point. I hope you've had time to review that. We have one last check in the meeting today, and hopefully we'll get fairly quickly to the point where we can take a vote on this and finish this work for this year. So Nathan, if you could work us through here any questions that we've got or additional changes we need to make in this final draft report.
Yes, sir. And Ari, are you on with us as well? Okay. Let's see. I've been notified of a couple of changes from the department, from different folks who have sent in corrections, and all of those are encompassed in this final version. Marianne, did you want to make any reference to any of the changes that were made? Or perfectly okay if not.
No,
I know.
I don't have nothing further than what's already been changed.
And Rick, you caught a couple typos. Who's just joined us?
Hi, Dolores Gresham. Sorry I'm a little bit late, been on the road.
Welcome, Senator. We're just getting into sort of the final changes. Where's this thing? Just come up with it.
We do have a quorum, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Has everyone had a chance to look at this final version that I sent out a couple of hours ago?
I have not, Nathan. Would it be helpful to just highlight some of the changes that you sent in the more recent version?
Yeah, essentially what it was on one of the, actually on pages 31 through 34, we, at the very top, the header said 2017 committee recommendations and cost projections instead of 2016. So the recommendations are from this year, but they start in FY17. So there was just a heading that was mislabeled. And let's see. Side of that. We had one column, I think, mislabeled on page 18. They're all kind of small typographical things. So that was essentially it from last year, just column headings and things like that. So after we kind of fixed it piece by piece, so that's why you got one version this morning, and then there were still a couple typos that we repaired this afternoon. Yeah, Rick, you caught one too earlier, didn't you? Was that just the heading on 31 through 34?
Yeah, that was the only thing I had. So, do you need a motion or what?
Make a motion, we approve the report. This is Harry Brooks. Yeah, well, I had, this is Mr. Harper. I had one question, concerning, the Appendix D. And,
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt, but Harry made a motion to approve, is that right? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
that's correct. Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am, you
so
did.
I'll second that, and then we can have discussion, right?
Okay, we're
Okay.
now open for
Seconded.
discussion.
So on Appendix D, yes, sir.
I was just curious about the variance. When I was looking at the Appendix D, and there are many districts that have, I guess, no impact, and I was just wondering about the explanation for that. Do we want to include an explanation as to why that occurred? I think it's related to minimum funding, but I don't really know for sure.
Appendix D, let me see, I'm looking at the guidance counselor scenarios in Appendix D.
EL, the very first one, EL
The first one, EL.
and RT.
Do you want to
Yeah,
speak to it?
This is Mary Ann. Yes, you are correct, Vincent. This is, as a result, districts on minimum funding would not realize any increase due to a change in the ratios or due to a change in the ratios for EL. That is correct.
So is that, and I know we talked about this the other day, but that is as a result of the BEP Enhancement Act?
Yes, it
Correct.
It redefined a base level of funding as minimum funding, and districts on minimum funding would not benefit from this change.
So that's kind of why it looks a little different. It's, it's based on the law as it stands now, which includes the BEP Enhancement Act passed this last year.
Okay. So my question really is, do we want to note that in any kind of way, or do we just want to leave it like it is?
Who's just joined us?
Oh, this is Ari.
All right, welcome. We were just discussing Appendix D. You know, I think to answer the question, I mean, we have an explanation in there of the BEP Enhancement Act already. I mean, would it be, is there, are you saying you want an asterisk like in variance column for Unicoi County to say there's no variance as a result of the BEP Enhancement Act of 2016? Or what?
I phrase it as being at minimum funding.
Yeah, it would be at minimum funding, I guess. Is that kind of what you're wanting to get at?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Or just some type of notation somewhere so that, you know, if someone picks this up and they would look at Clinton City, or they would look at, Hardeman County, or, you know, Lauderdale or whatever, that they would have some kind of type of understanding as to why there was no impact.
Sure. I obviously I didn't make the motion to approve. Chairman Brooks did, and it was seconded. But I would certainly, if you wanted to, you could amend the motion to approve it with that change. It's certainly something we could add before we transmit it to the governor and the General Assembly. But of course, that's up to a majority of the members voting.
Nathan, this is Harry Brooks. I'll include that suggestion. To create an asterisk or something and a note at the bottom of the end of Appendix D as to why that asterisk is there. I'll include that in my motion.
And I'll go ahead and second that, this amendment.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have additional questions or discussion?
Just a comment. This is Harry Brooks again. It's a good report. It's a very detailed report. It's one of these things that the legislature created some time ago, and I certainly hope the legislators read it. Sometimes I wonder if we read our own reports that we have generated or we have requested of folks. But it's a well done. It's a good report. It gives us the variances, and it gives us the impact on particular recommendations. So I think it's a good report, and I appreciate the work that the board and others have put in on it.
Thank you, Harry. Appreciate that. Any other discussion or comments? Okay, if none, we'll have the vote. Nathan, do we need a roll call vote?
We certainly can. It's we can do it without objection, but some folks like to abstain on this final vote, so I'm happy to call the roll.
Okay, let's do that then.
Okay, Lyle Alshire.
Yes.
Chairman Brooks.
Yes.
David Connor. Or designee. David Connor or designee. Senator Gresham.
Aye.
Ben Torres.
Yes.
Vince Harville.
Yes.
Chris Henson.
Yes.
Dorsey Hobson. Lynn.
Yeah.
Karen King.
Yes.
Let's see. Sarah Hayburn is a voting member, but since I'm administering the process, I'm going to just not vote on that. Candace McQueen.
Pass.
Larry Martin. Grant Turner.
Grant Turner for Larry Martin. Pass.
Wayne Miller, in case you joined us. Mitchell Moore, in case you joined us. Rick Nicholson.
Yes.
Don Odom.
Yes.
Michael for Cliff Libbard.
Abstain.
Larry Ridings.
Pass.
Mr. Chairman Ralston.
Yes.
Marianne Sparks.
Yes.
Comptroller's Office, anyone? Hunter Zanardi.
Yes.
You have 13 ayes, Mr. Chairman, and a majority having voted in favor of it.
Okay, very good. Well, appreciate that vote. Nathan, certainly appreciate the work that others on the staff have done on getting this together, and appreciate everybody's involvement in reviewing these final drafts. Do you want to talk some about the process for the incoming year?
I do. And first of all, I want to, Ari Goldstein's on with us. He was our policy fellow this last year, and we put together a contract so that he and I could work on this process again together. And Ari's joining us from Michigan, and I just want to publicly acknowledge his help and his hard work. He's I think an awful lot of him. Also, obviously the Office of Local Finance with the Department of Education. These folks never quit, and they're very, very helpful. Happy to respond to any of the requests that you all have sent me. As you all may or may not realize, the entire State Board of Education staff is fewer than 10 people, and we're administratively attached but independent from the State Department. So our relationship is good, and we certainly appreciate all of the help all the way around. I also want to note that moving forward this next year, I would suggest, if the members are amenable to doing it again, I am hopeful, keeping my fingers crossed. I certainly haven't seen the budget. I know, the folks in F&A, the folks in the Department of Education, the folks in the administration are in the process of the budget hearings. But I have some faith that the action that we took this year to send our priorities in the form of a letter early enough on that they could actually be used in the formation of the budget. I have some hope, certainly, that will affect the budget process and bring us some real wins for kids in this state. Last year, the approach was good. I would suggest to us again this next year that we plan on an earlier process like we did this year, to name our priorities and communicate those effectively to the budget creators. As far as that goes, anyone have any other thoughts about that? Do you feel good about that process that we went through, or? Don't everybody speak at once?
Nathan, my only suggestion is that possibly, if it's humanly possible, that our group meet in person at least one time, as a group, one time, if it's possible, in lieu of the webinars. Because I think sometimes being in the room, we can maybe collaborate a little bit better, with mutual goals. So that would be the only suggestion I would have, is that maybe we plan a workshop, a half-day workshop one day, at least one day during the 17-18 process.
Okay.
Okay.
Everyone else?
I'll vote for that.
Okay. We can sure do that. And is that the extent of the recommendations? Okay, Mr. Chairman, I think there's your discussion on the process.
Well, I just want to close here by saying again, we appreciate everybody's involvement and certainly agree with Harry's comments. I think we've got a really good report. I think it is an actionable report again this year. So we'll look forward to getting together. It would be helpful to have that workshop, which I think is a good idea, early on in the process, really before we get the letter out to the administration about establishing priorities. So we'll plan on doing that.
Chairman, sorry that I have to apologize again for coming in late, but did we all sing to Commissioner McQueen on the success of of our 4th and 8th graders with on science. Did we all congratulate her before I got here?
She isn't on, Senator Gresham, but I'll tell you what, if you want to break the news to everybody, anybody that hasn't heard, it'd be fabulous. So.
Well, I'm sure that you have heard. It's all over social media and press releases, and it was in the Tennessee, and that again, it was validated that our kids are as smart as any kids in the country. And 4th and 8th graders have surpassed themselves in especially science and math. And to the point where I think that we got into 19. We're rated as 19 in 4th grade science. And I forgot all the rest of it. I went over it very quickly this morning as I was on the road. But this is just phenomenal. It is truly phenomenal. You know, to when you're talking about Nathan, I thought earlier you mentioned something about making this a winning team for kids. The kids are winning. Their kids are winning, and we need to continue to cheer them on, and their teachers, because this is truly a phenomenal set of dynamics that have happened in Tennessee to come to this particular point, and we just have to keep the momentum going and keep encouraging our teachers as well as our kids, because they can certainly do it.
Dolores, certainly this is Fielding. I certainly appreciate you bringing that up. It really is, when you look at the data coming out of that, it is phenomenal accomplishment. It really is. And you know, I sat on the NAEP governing board, and I found out about these results about a month ago, and I can't tell you how lavish the NAEP staff in Washington has been about, you know, what is going on in Tennessee. They're just kind of beside themselves of trying to figure out, you know, what we're doing. And I think you're exactly right. The teachers and the students deserve the credit for this, but they're certainly making a mark on a national basis of accomplishment here in the science area, as well as the other areas that we've got really good progress in also.
And certainly it's a combination of things of number one, I think the key was higher expectations, you know, right. Accountability, encouraging, obviously the cooperation of parents, the type of assessments, notwithstanding some difficulties we've had in the past year. I mean, we are on it. I mean, we are just on it. And my congratulations and thanks go out to every team member out there, because good work. It's been good work.
Yep. Okay, well said. Any other comments? Okay, if none,
Mr. Chairman.
And again, thanks to everyone.
Mr. Chairman, one thing, I think we'll try to aim for our half day together maybe a few weeks after the end of legislative session. Would that be a good time?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
And we'll get some dates out to everyone and get one set fairly quickly here.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.